Now, one particular charity in Ireland is all about children every day of the year. That's the Jack and Jill Children Foundation. Since 1997, they have provided specialised nursing care for over 2,500 families. I went along to meet the team and to see how fundraising is going, especially after the year they've had.
It's been a terrible year, but we're going to finish it much better than we expected.
Carmel Doyle heads up this fantastic team. How was Jack and Jill Foundation founded?
Well, above your head there, Blaithnaid, that's the original Jack Irwin, and it was his little care plan in 1997 that has become the blueprint for Jack and Jill. And Jack Irwin lived for 22 months and he died in the arms of his favourite nurse on the 13th of December 1997. So it's his anniversary around this time. And we have helped thousands of children like Jack over the years. And that's down to Jonathan and Marianne and their courage and their generosity.
Carmel, what is the main function of the Jack and Jill Foundation?
The Jack and Jill Children's Foundation provides specialist home nursing care to 377 beautiful children around the country. These are children with highly complex medical conditions. Some of them are end of life. They typically would be at home in a high care condition with 20 pieces of equipment. They may have problems being tube fed, oxygen dependent, taking seizures. But underneath all of this disability, these are children who do better at home. Our job is to empower those parents and to help them to keep those children warm and cosy and safe at home where they belong.
Tracy Carl, whose daughter Willow depends on the Jack and Jill service, is an advocate for the charity. Tracy, tell me about Willow.
Okay, so Willow turned 4 there on the 1st of December. So what was supposed to be a normal delivery turned into a living nightmare. That's the only way to describe it. So Willow suffered a brain injury at birth or shortly after birth, and she was born in Cavan, so the following morning, the early hours of the Friday morning, she was sent to the Rotunda for assessment. And from there, it just went from bad to worse. So we stayed in the Rotunda for a few days, and then when she was 4 days old, we took Willow home. But we thought we'd brought her home to pass away. So as you can imagine, it was terrible. Yeah, I can't even really remember how I felt because it was just a blur. Just sort of moving, but not really knowing what to do. The following day, as I say, it's like my fairy godmother coming out of the fog. We met Anne Riley from Jack and Jill, and they came in, and everything just sort of changed from there. It's the only way I suppose I can explain it, because we were lost. We hadn't a clue what we were doing. Well, I mean, we were watching Willow from minute to minute, and even hour to hour, like waiting for her last breath, because she was giving absolutely no hope. The most favourite memory I have of that time is when Anne walked in, and she was so calm, and you know, she shifted people for me because the house was mad, and I just really wanted to be on my own. And from there, she just really kind of took over and just told us, you know, what we needed to do and what might happen. But from the minute she met Willow, she always said, "I don't think this little lady's going anywhere." And I suppose at that stage we were just taking it day to day.
Anne Riley is the Regional Nurse Manager for the Jack and Jill Foundation and is affectionately known as the Fairy Godmother by Willow's mum. You are the Fairy Godmother.
Well, I'm the Fairy Godmother in Willow's house. Yeah, I would like to think that I'm a little bit of a godmother to a lot of houses, in that it's been said to us, like when I go to meet a family who, a bit like as Tracy described earlier, your world has just, it's not exploded, it's imploded. It's just come, you know, your whole world is shattered inwards. And I come then, and they, you know, you meet them. I try my best, you know, to meet a family within 24 hours of getting that referral. In Willow's case, it was less than 24 hours. They were coming home, I met them here that night, I was here that night. But when I meet the families, I explain to them, for a lot they don't understand exactly how it is that Jack and Jill works. So I explain to them, you know, that we can give you so many hours, we will introduce you to nurses and try and link you up with the right nurses, and so this person will come and let you get to bed for a few hours when you are so exhausted, or let you take siblings away for a couple of hours to have that little bit of special time, mum and dad time with siblings. Because siblings find it very, very hard. It is tough on them with a little baby who needs so much, comes in back into the home. For a lot of families, even though their children are very medically fragile and have huge medical and nursing needs, parents are shown how to do it and are so willing to learn how to do it. So with a small amount of support, a few hours here or a couple of nights or whatever, they can do that 7 days a week at home, but they cannot do it without it.
The foundation has supported this family on every step of their journey.
And for everything that we've had to go through, you know, Willows now, she's peg fed for, you know, finding out when she was a year old that she did have epilepsy and having to go on all the medication for that. And all the little steps, Jack and Jill are there. You know, we've always had Anne to rely on for that support. And then when Willow was 3 weeks old, your other mum came into our world, Catherine Fullerton, and she's with us still. There's no plan for this, like you're just uncharted waters, and you just take it day by day. And like that at Catherine, we talk to each other all the time. Our family are like our family, and it's just brought so much more to our lives.
Catherine Fullerton is Willow's nurse and has become a vital part of the family.
Catherine, what's your role in Willow's life?
I mind her 1 day a week for Tracy, so that Tracy can do other things within the family, maybe take Noah out, go get her shopping, whatever she needs to do, have some time for herself if she can manage it.
Now there's minding and minding, but you're a professional minder, you're a professional nurse and midwife. That expertise, how important is that in this role?
It's essential, yeah. I mean, because Willow has medications that she needs to be given, she needs to be tube fed, you know, she has seizures on occasion, so yeah, it's pretty specialised, all right, yeah.
You're very much described as part of the family, but after talking to Tracy, I do see the importance of having someone else come through that door that often might just bring peace of mind.
Yeah, well, we talk nearly every day as well, just in general. It doesn't have to be about Willow, just chatting about family life, just being there for each other, so it's lovely. I wouldn't change it for the world, yeah, and I love Willow so much. She's like a third daughter to me.
Is it tough sometimes?
Yeah, it is, yeah. I mean, I look at Willow, like I'm sure Tracy does as well, and think what she should be doing as a 4-year-old, and that's kind of hard sometimes. But then I also look at her smiling at me and looking at me, and you just think, you wouldn't change her either, you know, that kind of way, so.
Noah is Willow's big brother and is her biggest fan.
Noah put a lovely spin on the story, saying that she's a secret fairy elf and he's an elf, and that's why she has special needs. And he's really built up this lovely little life around it, you know, and it is real family, you know. I wouldn't change Willow.
And there he is himself.
Yes, Noah has chocolate on his face.
Show me, Noah. Show me the proof.
Yeah. Thanks. And this is life. And this is family, huh? And this is Noah.
Oh.
And Noah's Willow's favourite person.
But you also don't like to let her out of your sight.
No. Yeah, I always said she's like the little piece of a jigsaw that was missing in my whole life. And now she just completes me, I suppose. She's just changed everything for me in a much better sense. I think it's the first time in my life that I've just felt really, really settled, and you know, it just changes your whole perspective. Like we all go through life and we're chasing and we're running, and you know, you're chasing the next thing. We're just living the day to day and the now, and we're just happy with what we have, and I'm not looking for, you know, what tomorrow brings. Just really happy with what we have. I mean, the people that Willow have brought into our life, you know, to totally unexpected, you know, and the great friends we've met because of Willow. Everybody loves you, don't they? Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, Jack and Jill Magella speaking.
Seeing the support that Jack and Jill can give to a family, it's clear to see how fundraising is vitally important to this charity.
Carmel, the year we've had, it has to have been the most difficult year for fundraising.
Yeah, Friday the 13th of March, I'll never forget it. I sat in that room with the team. We didn't know if we were going to be out for a month, 2 months. COVID blew a hole in our budget this year. We were looking at a shortfall of way over 500,000. That's $500,000. That's because everything was cancelled overnight. So we had to make the big decision to put everything online. So it has been a devastating year. I'm thrilled to work with a team here who've worked harder than ever, and we had to issue an SOS appeal to our people, to our supporters, and they responded so well. So it was lovely to have the usual things like the candles and the cards going in, but when Paddy Common and Barry Sheehan gave us that fantastic book, and I'm holding it so proudly here, you know, it's really added to our Christmas loot. And you know, with this little book, €8, every part of that proceed goes into home nursing care for sick children, and we're delighted to have it.
Paddy Common is a writer of children's books and has donated his latest creation to raise vitally needed funds.
And it's very simple, but yet it works perfectly for Jack and Jill. But why Jack and Jill?
Well, you know, Ireland, there's always, you know, small degrees of separation in anything. And a colleague I work with, Alan Bateson, is on he's on the board of Jack and Jill, and he talks so passionately about the charity every year. So I had that book. I hadn't done anything really with it. So I talked to Barry, the illustrator, and we both agreed that we'd donate the book to the charity. And you know, I was delighted by how quickly they managed to get everything printed and published and out. So look, it's great to be able to see the book out in print and to see that it's going to a good cause.
You must be very proud knowing where the money's going.
Well, look, the more I've learned about this charity, we're able to put into context what this book does. Every sale of this book gives half an hour of nursing care to Jack and Jill, and that puts it into a quantifiable term. So it's great to see that every single penny of this, every single cent of this goes directly to the charity and also goes into something that's really worthwhile.
Now, there are reviews and there are reviews. Now, of course, adult reviews, even reviewing a children's book from an adult writer's perspective, you take a breath. But when the real audience, you know, when they review, were you a little bit nervous about any in particular?
Well, you know, obviously, you know, we're targeting a particular audience, but we've seen some brilliant reviews online, including young Reese Scanlon from Limerick, who's just 8 and who does a brilliant job of sewing up this book.
And someone sent me this book in the post called What Does Santa Do When It's Not Christmas, and it's written for the Jack and Jill Children's Foundation, helps families who have very sick children, and it's a very important children's charity, so please donate.
There you have it from Reese. If you'd like to support the Jack and Jill Foundation, go to their website on screen now. And what a privilege it was for us to spend the day with the Jack and Jill team and with Willow and her family. Now it's competition time for you at home.